talking about business. Like, can we not appreciate this moment right here?
I'm sorry. It's a business trip.
Nobody expected it to go down like that. Not on a random night, not on a live stream, and definitely not with the kind of calm that slowly turned into something explosive. At first, it felt like just another check-in, another casual moment where LaTisha Scott sat in front of her phone, talking to her audience like she always does. But something was different. You could see it in her eyes. She wasn't smiling the same. Her energy felt heavy, like she had been carrying something for a long time and just couldn't hold it in anymore. She tried to keep it together at the beginning. She talked softly, almost like she was choosing her words carefully. But then her tone shifted. You know that moment when someone stops protecting other people's feelings and finally starts telling their truth? Yeah, that moment hit hard. And what came next had everybody frozen.
Like, this is crazy. Like, people are really offering you money to come on this show and lie. So at that point, I was like, forget it. It's a lie. Like, now I don't.
She looked straight into the camera and said a name that nobody expected to hear in that context, Sunni. Not casually, not lightly, she said it with weight. And then she dropped the accusation that changed everything. I know what you did, and I'm done staying quiet. From that point on, the live wasn't just a conversation anymore. It became a moment. The kind of moment people replay, break down, and talk about for days. Because what LaTisha was about to reveal wasn't just drama. It was betrayal, trust broken from the inside, and years of emotions finally boiling over. To understand why this hits so hard, you have to go back a bit, because from the outside, LaTisha's life always looked put together. She and her husband, Marsau Scott, built an image that people either admired or questioned, but either way, people paid attention. They were seen as a power couple, business-minded, family-oriented, always presenting strength even when rumors tried to shake that image. But behind that polished front, things were never as perfect as they looked.
That doesn't make Tisha annoyed with me because I know she wanted to move.
For years, people speculated about Marsau. There were whispers, subtle hints, moments on screen where fans felt like something wasn't adding up. LaTisha, on the other hand, stayed loyal. She defended her marriage publicly, stood by her husband even when it wasn't easy, and made it clear that she believed in what they had. And that's what made this situation so emotional, because this wasn't just about cheating rumors. This was about trust, about standing by someone through everything, only to start realizing that maybe you were the only one fighting that hard to keep things together.
Part of the harassing communications was you sending the picture.
No,
Right.
no, it wasn't.
Okay, that's the question I gotta ask. The question is, how do you feel about that? That makes me lose respect for my job.
If it was true.
If it was true, yeah. I didn't
So
say
now
it was
that
true.
he's saying
I
it
assumed it
wasn't-
was true.
You assumed it
now that
was?
he's saying that it's not true, how do you feel about it?
I don't know if I would believe Martell.
Now here's where it gets deeper. Sunni wasn't just some random outsider. She wasn't a stranger who popped up out of nowhere. She was around, close enough to know the dynamics, close enough to be trusted. And that kind of access, that's what makes betrayal feel personal on a completely different level. Because it's one thing to deal with issues in your relationship. It's another thing to realize that someone who smiled in your face, someone who sat near you, laughed with you, maybe even supported you at times, might have crossed a line you never imagined they would. And for a long time, LaTisha stayed quiet. Maybe she had suspicions, maybe there were signs, but she didn't come out and say anything. She held it in. And sometimes that silence isn't because someone is weak, it's because they're hoping they're wrong. But eventually, the truth has a way of showing up, and when it does, it doesn't ask for permission.
Like, this is crazy. Like, people are really offering you money to come on this show and lie. So at that point, I was like, forget it. It's a lie. Like now I don't.
Back on that live, LaTisha wasn't the same composed woman people were used to seeing. She wasn't trying to protect anyone anymore. Her voice started shaking, not out of fear, but out of frustration, out of hurt that had been building for way too long. She didn't scream at first. She didn't even raise her voice right away, but you could feel the intensity rising with every sentence. "I let you into my space," she said, her eyes locked on the camera. "I trusted you." The comments were flying. People were trying to piece together what was happening in real time. Some were confused, others were like, "I knew something was off." But what made it even more intense was how LaTisha delivered it. She wasn't just angry, she was hurt in a way that you can't fake. And then she went deeper. She talked about the signs she ignored, the moments she brushed off, the times she felt something wasn't right, but convinced herself she was overthinking. And that right there, that hit a nerve with a lot of people watching. Because that's real life. Sometimes you see the red flags, you feel the shift, but you don't want to believe it. So you explain it away. You tell yourself you're being paranoid. You hold on to what you hope is true, instead of facing what might actually be happening. LaTisha admitted she did exactly that. "I didn't want to be right," she said quietly, "because being right meant everything I believed in was a lie." And just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, there was a pause. You know that kind of silence that feels loud? That's what happened. She took a breath, looked away from the camera for a second, and when she looked back, it was like something in her had shifted completely. "I'm not protecting anybody anymore." That line hit different, because up until that point, people could argue that maybe she was just emotional, maybe she was speaking out of anger. But that statement, that sounded like clarity, like someone who had finally reached the end of their patience. Then came the twist nobody expected. Someone asked in the comments if Marsau knew she was live. LaTisha didn't answer right away. She just gave a look that said more than words ever could. And right then, you could hear movement in the background. The room changed. People in the chat started spamming, "Is that him? He's there! Turn the camera!" LaTisha didn't rush, she didn't panic, she slowly turned her head, then slightly adjusted the phone, and there he was. Marsau walked into the frame for a split second before stopping, clearly realizing what was happening. Thousands of people watching, his name being mentioned, the situation already out in the open.
He didn't say anything. LaTisha looked at him, then back at the camera. "You got something you want to say?" she asked. It wasn't loud, it wasn't aggressive, but it carried weight. Marsau stood there, silent. No denial, no explanation, nothing. And then, just like that, he walked away. That moment, it spoke louder than anything else that happened during that live. Because sometimes, silence answers questions words can't. Social media went crazy within minutes. Clips started circulating everywhere. People were analyzing every second, every facial expression, every word. Some were defending LaTisha, saying she finally stood up for herself. Others were questioning everything, trying to figure out how long this had been going on. But beyond the gossip, beyond the speculation, there was something deeper happening. People saw a woman who had reached her limit, not just with a relationship, but with being quiet, with carrying things alone, with pretending everything was okay when it clearly wasn't. And that emotional impact, it didn't just stay on that live. You could see it in her face. The exhaustion, the disappointment, the realization that something she had fought for might not have been what she thought it was. This wasn't just about a scandal. It was about years of effort, loyalty, and belief
crashing into a reality she couldn't ignore anymore. And when that happens, it changes you. It changes how you see people, how you trust, how you move forward. For LaTisha, that live wasn't just exposure, it was release. She wasn't holding it in anymore. She wasn't choosing silence over truth. And that kind of moment, it's painful, but it's also powerful. Because sometimes losing the image of something perfect is the only way to finally see things clearly. As everything settled and people continued talking, one thing became clear: this story isn't over. There are still questions, still layers, still things that haven't been said. But what happened on that live? That was real. It wasn't scripted, it wasn't polished, it was messy, emotional, and raw in a way that reality TV rarely captures. And whether people agree with how she handled it or not, one thing can't be denied. LaTisha chose herself in that moment. She chose to speak, even if her voice shook. She chose truth, even if it hurt. She chose to stop protecting people who didn't protect her. And that's not weakness, that's strength. Because at the end of the day, no relationship, no friendship, no image is worth losing yourself over. And sometimes the hardest thing to do is also the most necessary. Walk away from what's breaking you, even if it once felt like everything. That's the part people don't talk about enough. But maybe now, they will.